Greetings, everyone. Hawksblood here. The words Reverend, Doctor, and all them just give people a name to think about, making them better than other people. We are not, anybody is no better than anybody else, first off. Reverend, I don't know, people might want to hear it. People might want to hear doctor. Well, he's nobody unless he's a doctor. No, he's nobody unless he's this. But here's the thing, people. Uh, I'm not sure if I'm going to use that word much or not. I am a reverend. I went through a lot of different things in my life, which we all do. But what do we learn from it? Do we learn much at all? That's the question. Now, I've been on a spiritual quest my whole life. Some people said they were. Everybody tried. I was on it. I am. I know that. But when it comes to people that go out there and teach and preach and all those kind of words, what are they preaching? What are they teaching? All right. The biggest word right now in the UFO world, in the spiritual world, even in religions, not all religions, but the word is meditation. All right. And then when you go into meditation, they say, well, it'll bring you powers. Powers of what? What kind of powers? Superpowers of what? All right. Mankind had many superpowers in the beginning of time when Atlantis was alive and well. But when you're connected to God and you work with spirit, you do things that are right. There's no wrong. But since Atlantis was destroyed, the Garden of Eden was destroyed, and aliens got involved with the picture and everything else, and so did the word deities. The Hindu religion was the first race on the planet to have a religion, and basically it was sexual. The deities and everything else that they worship, and it had to do a lot with sex. All right, which I'm not going to talk about much tonight, but what we need to talk about is, where do we go? What are we doing to get there? Do you want a spiritual path? Do you want a religious path? Do you want a path to get to where? Where do you think you're going to go? What do you think you're going to get when you get there? And what are you going to do? I got so much noise going on right now. Let me just try closing the window. Hold on. That's the first step. Well, one down, one to go. Sorry about that. All right. Now, you can go to try to find a master, a teacher, spiritual leader. What do they promise you, and what do they want in return? Most people want money, no matter what path it is. Churches, religion, spiritual speakers, they all want money. I never did anything in the spiritual realm for money. Sure, a donation, if somebody gave me something or something, would be okay. But I never asked for it, never demanded it, never said, well, this is what it's worth, this is what you need to pay, or anything like that. So what I'm going to try to get into today is the starting of a path, your path. Where do you go? What do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish in this life? What do you think you're going to accomplish in this life? What do you think you're going to do after this life is over? I did a show with Jeffrey Seelman, and it turned out pretty hardcore. It got hard because we started talking about aliens and the involvement of that as well. And it's hard to understand that aliens are involved with our development, which they are. It's not Jesus, God, Buddha, Moses, none of those people. It was who programmed mankind to be killers. All right. And we all have been. Well, most of us, 99% of all of us in past lives have been. And it's a program that has been accepted. And it's been more accepted in this lifetime and agreed on. And when you say agree on, well, two countries having a war with each other. Well, we can kill you and you can kill us when we're in war. Really? All right. Let's go beyond that. Now, these teachers that are out there speaking, whether they charge $200, $2,000, $10,000, whatever the time frame and all that, it's going to take you as long as it's going to take you. And you shouldn't be paying for every day that it's going to take you to get there, because you might not ever get there. Sorry to tell you that. And these people that take your money will tell you you're there. You're a spiritual being. You got all these superpowers. You just got to use them. To do what? Let's go back. Moses, to me, I mean, I was a Christian when I was young. I was baptized a Protestant at 14. And then I decided I had to start searching out other religions to find more about God. But here's the thing. Moses was what? A spiritual being? I call him the greatest black magician to live on the planet. Now, I was a high priest when I was young. All right. I don't say I'm afraid or ashamed. I did what I had to do to get to my next step, whatever it was, whatever you got to do, as long as you don't go around killing people or hurting people, either one. And I realize it's easy to make people go through pain and suffering. Voodoo, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it. Psychic abilities, throwing energy at people. Really? Aliens can do it. Humans can do it as well. Should it be accepted? No. Is it spiritual? No. Well, the spiritual things we say we're learning in this lifetime, what are they? Basically, all you hear is meditation. Guided meditation. I was never into guided meditations. I led a couple here and there. People say, well, what do I do? What do I do? Well, here's a starting point. And you bring them into it. But it goes beyond blacking out all things, thoughts, and no. It's more important to be aware where you're going, what you're doing when you're in meditation. To become one with nothingness is nothing. Serious people. When a Lama or a Buddha or a spiritual being, a native person goes up into the mountains, months, years, what do you think they're learning? If you leave the world you're living in, which is a good thing, you can learn a lot. But if you're living in the world that you're living in, trying to learn things about it, you're not learning spiritual things. And I hate to tell you that. Nothing on this planet can lead you to your next spiritual step in spiritual unfoldment. When you take a step in spiritualism, I never say I'm spiritual. I'll go into that later. But when you say you're spiritual, what does it mean? Mankind has no concept of what spiritual means. Well, I go to church. I pray. I do meditation. I do this. I do that. All these things you do. And what do you achieve? Oh, I'm at peace. At peace with what? A warring planet. At peace with what? Crime, punishment, sacrifice, torture, murder, killing, all those kind of words. And you're at peace with that? You forgive everybody. Forgive them. Do you have the right to forgive somebody? Somebody goes out and kills a whole classroom. You can forgive them? Who gives you the right to? And what do you think you have the right to do, really? Forgiveness is the best. No, it's not. Now, if you're a Christian, in the Bible, it talks about sin. Moses went into 613 laws on what he called bad, and he created laws about them, which were impossible to follow. But then again, the truth is, mankind who followed Jesus twisted a lot of what he said, created a lot of what they wanted. And even at that, a lot of the people that followed Jesus helped kill him. All right. Now, things you might not like to hear is reincarnation. And I'll tell you this. In this lifetime, the next or the one after that, you'll learn about reincarnation. Hopefully, when you learn to understand it, it could help you move forward spiritually much quicker, much more advanced state, whatever state you're in at the moment. Having an awareness of a past life. And you had many. All right. Most religions don't accept reincarnation. All right. Buddhism, Hinduism, they do. The Egyptians did. But guess what? Egyptians were programmed by aliens. And, I have to use that word because they didn't learn from God what reincarnation meant. What they did to the body to reincarnate, their techniques and what they talk about and everything else had nothing to do with reincarnation. Seriously. You can't immortalize a body. You can't do all the things they thought. But the tortures and the things they did to the skeleton, the body, and everything else was ridiculous. It's not how you attain reincarnation. And it's sure not going to help you if you try to come back. Which most souls do. No matter who you say you're following on this planet, I don't know too many on this planet that could teach you to rise above that. Oh, forgive everybody. That's not going to make you a spiritual being. Give money out when you can, help people. You know, being nice is a good thing on this planet. But look where you are. I mean, I had a whole bunch of writing, but I don't see it. Didn't go up. Where are you right now? Planet Earth. And what is that? Where is it? It's on the bottom of God's worlds. All right. And basically, it's hell. You don't go worse. You can't go worse than planet Earth. Oh, you go to hell. And what are you going to do in hell? Burn? What do you think? Freeze and all those kind of words? Dante's Inferno goes through all the levels of hell. No, there is no hell except living here. The Pope said there is no hell. He said it himself. He said Adam and Eve doesn't exist. He said a lot of things. He's trying to rewrite the Ten Commandments. But people, this is hell, and I'll explain why this is hell. You, as soul, what you truly are, that's inside that body that you're walking around in, is who you really are. Not that body that you're looking at in the mirror. All right? Not the body that eats, drinks, smokes, and parties, and then does all these kind of things. That's not soul. Soul is trapped within the body. And there's reasons. All right. Now, when I say reasons, what could be reasons to be trapped in the body? We were put down on this planet in hell for a reason. Something scientists, so-called spiritualists, and other people do not understand. Why this would be hell. We can make this better. You can't make hell better. Jesus came here and was killed. I mean, Buddha didn't teach about heaven. He taught about reincarnation. But staying here, he talked about going into the bardo, kind of like a hell zone for 40 days and then coming back here. Really? You don't have to come back here if you're moving forward spiritually. So when you say reincarnated 300 times, 3,000 times, does it mean anything important? It means you're not moving forward. You're still stuck in reality. And I'll tell you this. I had 2 important reincarnations other than this one in all my reincarnations. I was everything. Priest, rabbi, minister. One thing I never was, it's not ego, I was never a killer. I was a Buddhist. I was killed when I was young. I was killed when I was native twice. I mean, all these things, what was I doing? I was at Wounded Knee. I could tell you everything that went down in Wounded Knee when it happened. When Christians slaughtered the native women and children. Do you want to know the truth about things, or you want to listen to other people's stories? Man, which the medicine woman I studied with for a long time, always used his, H-I-S, story, S-T-O-R-Y, his story. And it's always his story, not her story or a real story. It's lies, twisted truth. When somebody writes something, is it God's writing? Did God write the Ten Commandments? Of course not. Did God write the Emerald Tablets? No. Who brought them here? See, those things are twisted. And then when you got people like Zachariah Sitchin coming out, rewriting and re-explaining in his own interpretation of what the Sumerian tablets meant and things like that, what race was here and what they did. Giants were here. It's even in the Bible. But the giants were using mankind, the little people, until they were all killed. They found skeletons, and they really did. Sure, many fake pictures and things like that, but they found real skeletons of humans, anywhere from 8 feet to 15 feet tall. So, now, if you think about pyramids, why would they build so big? Were people so big at that time? Realize you don't do things without a reason. I'm not going to build a $1 billion story building for 2 people. Am I? Why would I do that? Am I going to build an ant colony home to move into? No, that would be super ridiculous as well. We do things that fit our awareness and consciousness at that time. Now, all the pyramids around the world have existed for a long period of time, and most of them are here in some level. Are they useful? No. Did they prove anything important? No. Just that technology was different in those days. But it wasn't called technology. Go back to Atlantis, which was my first reincarnation into this reality, planet Earth. They were called psychic abilities, which people are talking about today. There's 32. Jesus had 32. Mary Magdalene had 32. Mary, the mother of Jesus, had 0. All right, when you talk about psychic abilities, you could go to a voodoo priest and all those kind of people. They have psychic abilities to a very small degree. When I mean that, can they make a ship blow up? Can they make a car blow up? Can they blow up a house? Can they make you drop dead instantly? No. They claim a lot of things, but can they do it? I was a high priest at 16. I went against the mob's high priest. And what he did, he put spells on people so they couldn't testify against the person that was going to court and things like that. It's crazy, but yeah, it was part of, I lived in Jersey. Santeria came into New Jersey when I was young. And that's a really bad form of voodoo. All right. So, and I dealt with that. I put people involved with that, but they were finding heads in rooms and all kinds of horrible things. So it was never a good thing. Now, let's get back to psychic abilities. Moses, he had many. Did he go through ascension? And that's when you attain 32 psychic abilities. I don't think he attained everything. I don't think they completely went through it. He wouldn't have been responsible for probably killing more people than any other single person. And this is a recognized spiritual healer, leader, everything. Well, when he came up the mountain, he had 3,000 people killed as demons. When he brought the people out of the prisons and stuff like that, he walked them around in circles until they all died. No, their children went to the promised land. And we know in the Bible it says he wasn't allowed into the promised land. Why? How about for killing people? Came up the mountain with thou shalt not kill, and he goes around and kills 3,000 people right then and there. All right, when he did all his magic, all the children died, all the people that died. Some teachers and masters say, well, it takes bad things to make good things happen, which is not true. Just because something bad happened doesn't turn it into something good. You try to make it something good because it happened and it's over. I could tell you a short story about, I don't know if I should or not, but basically when you tell a story and you're telling somebody else's experience, you don't know what they really went through, what they're going through. Well, Moses brought his people, the children, to the promised land. But the promised land wasn't a piece of land that they could take over. It was occupied by people. The only way they could take it over was kill everybody there. That's the foundation, people. It's in the Bible. I'm not making it up. So, where do we go from there? Then the gladiators were created. All through history. They have always been here. People love to see people get killed. And they still today. All right. So, when we say spiritual and teachings and masses and all that, I say this, I'm not spiritual. I'll be spiritual when I leave this planet permanently. All right, people claim to be spiritual. Ask them, what makes them spiritual? They're not going to give you any truth because they don't know it. All right, when I studied with multiple masters, teachers, deities, angels, you name it. Angels aren't really teachers. They help you get places and things like that, but they're not teachers. So when Muhammad met with Gabriel and was given teachings, when did an angel give teachings other than that supposedly story? If you read them, you'll notice they contradict each other. No God, no angel has to contradict themselves. They don't have to lie, they don't have to cheat, they don't have to do any of those words that we do here. All right? When God was talking to Adam and Eve, he lied. Why would he have to lie to two people? And when God talked about himself, he talked about people, not himself. So, there's contradictories everywhere in the Bible. But the truth is, mankind twisted everything, created the idea of what Jesus came here for, and still have no clue. Sure, aliens say, I've been trying to find out what aliens believe in. Even the Venusians from Venus believe that Jesus was an alien. They have no clue. They don't know the truth about Jesus. Very few people do. Only Jesus' true followers knew what he was here for. He was teaching. What could he teach? Forgiveness. How do you teach forgiveness? Forgive them. They did something bad. Forgive them. How do you teach love? Love them. Just say, I love you. That's not how you teach love. That's not how you teach anything. You could only teach those words by showing it. He loved Mary Magdalene. Married and had a daughter. He never got to see his daughter. He was killed before she was born. All right. I was there. Sorry to tell you that. I was a female. Mary Magdalene was my closest friend. So when people say things about her, talk about her, they have no clue. Because she was a woman. Nobody wrote about women in the Bible. One of the few people was Joan of Arc. And what did they do to her? Killed her when she was 20. Going back to Jesus, when he had followers, Peter did not want to listen to Mary Magdalene when Jesus was killed. It took him a while. He had to listen to her. For a man to listen to a woman is hard in those days. Love wasn't in existence, people. Love did not exist. It was destroyed when Atlantis was destroyed. Go through history. Love wasn't there. Women were always sex objects and abused and used, period. Not we love each other, we'll have a happy relationship. No, it wasn't like that. You give me men, children. I want a king. I want sons. I want warriors. I want my name. It was never about beauty, love, compassion, and all the words that women are into. People, love is new. It's 2,000 years old. That's not a long time. Considering voodoo, witchcraft, demonism, all those words existed for hundreds of thousands of years. Killing, murder existed a long time. 100 years, 100,000 years. People, are you ready to starting on a new path? And that's why I'm doing this show today. It's going to be discourses, one at a time, little by little. Anybody that's interested can go in, pull up the old ones. All my shows are recorded. But where do you start? Who do you look for? Which master to follow? Which teacher? Who is real out there? None of them. Did Jesus teach people to follow masters? Did Buddha taught people to follow masters? No, neither one did. Did any spiritual leader teach you to follow a master? Well, when your ego grew, you got to follow me. But no teacher's a teacher unless they can teach you to get past where they are. Or at least give you the space to do it. Very few people will do that. And today, right now, I really want you to sit down, sit back, close your eyes, think about what you really want. And I'm not talking about money, a home, a car, and any of that, 10 children, being famous, being a singer, being a rock star, whatever. I'm not telling you to think about that. That has nothing to do with spiritualism. Giving your money to homeless people has nothing to do with spiritualism. Oh, well, that makes me spiritual because I donate money, I give money. No. There's 90% of the people on the planet, and there's about 8 billion people here, are super low income, starving, abused, homeless, and beat, and every other word you're going to imagine. So that leaves 10%. 4% are the rich people that control everything on the planet. All right, that's 6%. Now, 2 to 3% are the extremely poor people, and the other percent are the people that have to pay for everything. That's the way it goes down, people. But which one of them spiritual? What I learned, poor people are much more humble. Rich people are not. Middle class people are only concerned with making money to pay their bills. They're forced into a situation. Now, where's the religious people? All the people that go to church on Sundays? No. All the people that go into meditation every day? No. You're in this planet, on it, and you need to learn what you need to learn here. But if you have no clue what that is, how are you going to learn it? Go into meditation. Go into a dimension. Go into this bliss state. Has nothing to do with God. Has nothing to do with spirit. Well, I'm a spiritual being because I could go through a wall. Wow, that makes you spiritual? Ghosts can go through a wall. Demons can go through a wall. Aliens can go through a wall. Are any of them spiritual? People, please, I don't do my shows for no reason. I put all my time and effort into it. I've been doing shows for over 15 years. All right. I was supposed to do a show with Tina today, a UFO show, which didn't happen. I'm sorry about that, anybody that's out there. But again, to me, the UFO world's crashing. I had Jeffrey Seelman on. He's one of the top exorcists in the United States. And we got into a really hardcore debate on aliens. And everybody wants to believe there's good aliens out there. Are there good lions out there? Are there good alligators out there? Are there good fire ants out there? What do you call good? Respect your life, your laws, and that makes you a good person? What do you eat? What do you think aliens eat? What do you think cats eat? What do you think alligators eat? What do you think all these creatures eat? Everything needs food. Everything's stuck here because they need food. Even other races come in here for food as well, people. But does that make you spiritual in any way? Are aliens spiritual? Of course not. They have nothing to teach us. Technology, people, which we believe is important, is destroying you and your life and your world. When artificial intelligence takes over the world and you're not needed for one job, you'll say, man, why didn't I stop this when I realized they didn't need us? They don't need you. They don't need 8 billion people eating everything that's growing, fed, and move. They eat almost every creature that moves on this planet somewhere. Is that important to aliens or to an artificial intelligence? Technology is important to artificial intelligence. I'm not going to get into artificial intelligence because it's not artificial. It's real. And they will discover that. They already started proving it. It will be in great detail proved in the very near future. But your car driving, your plane driving, everything doing itself without you, what do they need you for? To fix it? No, the computers will be able to fix itself because they know what, here, there, and everywhere. People, let's start. Where are you going to place your feet? Where are you going to sit down? And what are you going to think about? Thinking about God's a little bit hard. And it was hard when Jesus was trying to explain about God. That's why he had to use the word Father. Let's start with, why are you really here? Who really created you? Not aliens, people, because who created them? All right, let's go to the fact. You're here for a reason. You need to find your reason. Everybody does. To make this easy for everyone listening, it's all the same reason. Not to be a doctor, not to be a lawyer, not to be a teacher, not to be a thief, not to be a killer. To find out who and what soul is, meaning yourself. What place it has to do with being in the realm of God's worlds. What can it do? What shouldn't it do? What does it follow? Not man's thinking. So when you sit down and meditate and people say, well, block everything out, think of nothing, what do you think you're going to get in touch with? The second a thought comes in, it's coming from ego. God doesn't come into this world. We're not all one with God. We want to be. We want to believe we are. Can anybody on this planet do one thing God can? No. So when these people say, "Oh, I'm God," realize I'm one with God, and what's that mean? You think you're one with God? You're a dreamer. All right. Now, how about people? I'm one with the universe. Where does that get you? What's it going to help you do? Travel the universe? That's a forever trip. Once you leave, you could go on forever. But why? What are you going to do when you start traveling through that space? Look for other aliens to say hi to? What are you going to do? What are you really here for? What do you really look like? What is really you? Oh, don't tell me that, Richard. Richie, sorry. That's horrible. You know, I'm a believer that dolphins are the most spiritual creatures on the planet, which they are. They have a brain equal to ours in size. They use different parts of it because they got sonar and radar from their brain, which we could if we used our brain. They use different parts of it. A dolphin's the only creature that can speak 150 words. Even a monkey could only be taught 50 words. But a dolphin can use sonar and radar to figure out things. If we say go in that box, put 4 boxes there with different things in it, go to the triangle, they'll go to the triangle. Because they can use X-ray, they can use sonar, which nobody else can. And the government, I don't want to go into the dolphin, that's a whole different realm, and they're spiritual, but we're not. Japan eats them, slaughters them by the thousands daily, and that's just started. Oh, it's gross. The Philippines do it too. They said if the United States gave them like $5 million a year, they wouldn't have killed dolphins. They could use that money instead of selling dolphin teeth and everything else. It's gross, people. Mankind's sick. To think we're spiritual in any way, if we were, and you say you're happy. Oh, I'm happy today. Oh, you need to be happy. Happy living in hell. Imagine that. Imagine seeing children get sold into slavery, sex, and being body parts being used and all that. And that should make you happy? You're part of it. You're in this reality. And you have ability to change things here in certain levels. Very few people make it that important in reality. And change it for the better. Tesla's destroying the planet. People. His inventions are the most evil weapons on the planet as well. Oh, but a car can drive itself. Yeah, does that mean we need you for anything? You know, technology. He created the HARP system, the most deadliest weapon on the planet. Sorry. All right. So, let's get back to you being spiritual, on a spiritual quest, on a spiritual journey. Where do you take your first step? When you sit in your bed, sit in your chair, sit by the beach, sit by a tree, wherever you're sitting, and it's better to sit, don't stand. All right. Greetings. Relax. That's one thing. And don't focus on everything outside you. You're the only thing that's important, people. Nothing else really is. Oh, my children, my house, my family, my car. No. Every one of them is only going to be here roughly 125 years maximum, which very few will make. And then they're gone. You can't do nothing to stop that. They're going to die of a disease, sickness, hit by a car, a plane, submarine. Who knows how they're going to die? But they will die. And karma is a big, important word which people don't want to use. Because karma is based on whatever you did in all your lifetimes. Buddha taught that. He was right about some things, especially things going on planet Earth. But he was trying to bring people to the bliss state. And that's forgetting and letting go of all thoughts and living in that space. All right, it's a space void of anything, just light and sound. I mean, you can walk into that and it feels incredible. But do you want to stay that? It's like being a hose with the water going through you. You want to be a hose forever? Just let water run through you? You think a hose feels good? 10 years from now? 100 years from now? 10,000 years from now? It's breaking down, but water's still going through it, and it's doing what it thinks it needs to do or wants to do. We believe things. If we don't let go of what we're programmed to believe, we can't take another step. It's different when you know the truth. Truth is die, be out of your body, meet with angels, meet with deities, meet with God. Then nobody can tell you anything different, and it doesn't matter what they say. The only thing I'm accountable to is God. All right. So here's the thing. Meditation is only a starting point to think about what you're going to do next. I was in a religion called Ekankar. I need a drink. Sorry. I'll lose my voice before I get there. It taught me things, many things, much more than any other religion. I'm going to tell you this. There's over 2,000 religions. Only 2 of them have the most amount of people following them. And they're not going to help you become spiritual aware. Now, there's 2 religions also that can teach you the foundation of understanding who you are as soul. One is called Ekankar, and one is called Shab Yoga. But it's based on an organization. It's based on a leader, a master, a teacher. All right? Which is not the way it needs to be. You don't have to follow some guru or a spiritual being that you think is, or a master giving you teachings. I could give you teachings. It's only to take, open your eyes. What are you doing? Where are you going? How are you going to get there? What do you need to do? What steps you can take? I mean, that's okay. But to say you have to go through me to get to God, not true at all. You can get back to God or closer to God by yourself. But you will have to face, and I'm going to tell you this, people, you will have to face deities I call little gods. There's thousands of deities, but they're not all little gods. There's 5 planes in this realm beyond hell where soul ends up, where soul is eternal and it stays there by itself with other souls and everything, but it's a pure soul, meaning without the body, without the mind, without programmed ideas and all that. It's almost pure light. But it's individual. You have your awareness being in that, which is not what Buddha taught. Universal consciousness is not what soul is. We wouldn't have to have a world. This would all be a dream. And Buddha says this is all a dream. Well, it's a sick dream, people. If it was that, and we have the power to change that, but nobody does. Because the other word people don't like is Satan. God created things for a reason. God created alligators, turtles, flies, all for a reason. And everything has a place on this planet until it's moved. You can't take a creature and put him somewhere else and expect it to be okay. Hawaii's infested with mongoose, wild boar, fire ants, centipedes. All right, we don't have bears and tigers and alligators or any of that. Got a lot of lizards. All right. Where are you going? Now, let's start facing deities. On the astral plane, now this is important, people, is the realm where all souls go when they die. All souls. Whether they get to stay there or they reincarnate or they're allowed to move on to the next realm. All right. And that's limited in moving on to the next realm. All right. When you do that, the gods of the astral plane, there's three. All right. And they make a decision, but I can't give you the clue to get past them. And I wouldn't even try. Because until you learn that, you're not going to get past them. But I'll tell you this, it's all about you, not anybody else's teaching. It's what are you truly learning? So when you get to the astral plane, you know in the story, oh, St. Peter, met St. Peter and he kicked me out and all those kind of stories that they put in religions and stuff. Well, if you get judged, your karma is the biggest judge for you. Your karma is heavy, you have to come back, period. You don't get to go into the next realm and stay there until your karma is paid off. Karma is every negative thing you ever did or do. All right? Just doing positive things doesn't cancel them out. Depending on kind of karma you created, depends how long it takes you to pay it back. If you destroyed or killed a person, there's families that will not be here. All right. Now, when you go into that state, all right, and you're going to face a God, do you have a clue what you need to do? What? No, of course you don't. Who's going to teach you that here? I won't even do it. I'm just going to tell you have to do it. Sure, you have to be a certain vibration. That's the first answer. But how do you attain that vibration? Chanting Buddha, chanting Jesus, chanting Moses, chanting any name or sound. Sounds are very important for you. And you have to find your own sound. I'm not going to get into that today. We all have a certain sound that we need to say or chant or whatever that'll help vibrate our body to get to that spot and stay there and move from that spot. So when you hear in Hindu, Buddhism even, they do a mudra and a mantra. One's a position of movement and one's a position of sound. All right, which is beneficial. But it's limited because it only works with the deities. And I said there's thousands of them in the astral plane. I'm not talking about the little gods. Lucifer is a fallen angel, but he's one of the highest angels. I should say he is the highest. All right. Jehovah is one of the gods there. All right. All right. I'm not going to go into any more names, but you have to work with them in some way to get past them. And if you don't think they can see your energy, your aura is you. Soul radiates an aura. Can't change it. All soul radiates its aura. It's like an atom. If you look at an atom, it radiates its energy. Whatever it is, radiates what it is. You can't say I'm spiritual and have this black aura around you, gray aura, green aura, orange aura around you. It's impossible. When you smoke and drink, your aura changes. Sorry to tell you that. When you start looking at people's auras, and it's easy, you'll understand what I'm saying. I gave up doing it. There's no auras to look at that are nice and pretty and radiating light. Oh, but this guy's so spiritual. That guy, whatever his name is, he just stares at people. People go to see him and all that and get healed, say they get healed and all that kind of stuff. Well, I saw him twice. I wanted to see who he was, what he was. But, you know, I mean, in the UFO world, there's another guy that comes out. I'm channeling an alien, and I'm going to tell you what. They've been here 20 years, 25 years, and they didn't say one important thing to help mankind move forward in any way. Psychics do not change reality. They could tell you, well, the Earth's going to blow up tomorrow, and it does. What did that do? Anything? All right. John, who wrote Revelations, was a psychic. All right. And whether you're religious or not, you should read Revelations. If you're a Christian, you should read it over about 2 or 3 times. Because John, in Revelation, tells you what can't be forgiven. Well, and people believe in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, oh, you're forgiven, just blah, blah, blah. No, it's not like that, people. There's more people here every day. 150,000 people die every day, 300,000 are born every day. So we just keep growing. No matter what disease, what we do, we're growing. And that's going to stop. I'm going to tell you, it's going to stop within 8 years. Not because I said so, because that's what the governments want. It's called UN Agenda 21-30. But keeping it real, people, you don't have much time to become spiritual. Working on it, to move into that space, to understand it. I listen to all these speakers. I go to the free workshops. When I first did Oprah's with Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle, oh, be one in the now. You can't be one with any other time frame, unless you're a time traveler, but you're not. All right. So when you're going to do this idea, I have to get into meditation somehow. Well, that's the first starting point. Find where you're going to do it, how long you're going to do it, and what are your things you're going to get involved with while you're doing it. Chair in your bedroom, sitting on the ground with your back against a tree, sitting by the ocean, sitting by a lake, whatever. But the more peaceful you make it, the more easy and helpful it will be. Music, you can play music. Now, just because it sounds rotten to you, it could be nice to another person. Some people like harp music. Some people like flute music. Some people like drums. Some people like hardcore music. Well, it's whatever actually can calm you down and keep your attention from drifting to baseball, football, hockey, going shopping, whatever. It's not easy. This world is filled with negative energy. Show me a person that claims to be a spiritual being, and I'll show you he's a liar. I challenge everybody, people. So people, oh, you're so mean. So no, I live in truth. I'll die in truth, and I can only bring truth to this world. I'm responsible back to God only. Whatever I do, whatever I create, is mine that I created. But is it good or is it bad? Is it really going to help or not? There's very little things you can do on this planet that can help people. No, words are just words. Apathy, that disgust, and all those kind of words. A man's ego. Good, better, best, great, loving, compassionate, beautiful. All those words are man's ego. Things are what they are. Why is the ocean better than the lake? Why is a tree better than a flower? Why is the sun better than the moon, or the moon better than something else, a cat? I mean, people have their way of picking on things and make it what they feel connected to. But it's still this reality. Now, we screwed time up through the Philadelphia experiment, which became the Montauk Project, and we screwed time up. It opened up a vortex. That wasn't in any point talked about in all the other parts of the Bible or any other book. I mean, if you go back to the Sumerian tablets and things like that. But read the Emerald tablets. I studied them for a year with my teacher. Did I have to? No, I wanted to. I wanted to know who brought mankind to this planet. We weren't hatched here. We didn't come here on a meteorite. We didn't multiply ourselves into a human, which is really the most ridiculous concept. Even Mitsu, I don't know, the Japanese scientist, there has to be an intelligent creator of some kind. Because when something evolves, how can it evolve always better? Does involvement know what's better step to take? When a cell mutates, does it mutate because it knows what's better to mutate into? No. Did a frog mutate into a caterpillar? And a caterpillar into a horse? You know, when we say we be one mutated into the other, it's not true. Different creatures were brought here. Aliens are pretty evil, or at most levels, brought all kinds of weird stuff here. The Koopa Chopper monster is one of them. All right. But again, people, where are you going to focus when you sit down by a tree? You got your back next to it, looking at a lake or whatever. You're on top of a mountain, looking at the whole fields, all the fields around you. Think about freedom. We don't have freedom on this planet. You're in hell, people. You got no freedom to do anything you want. You can try, you get arrested or killed, but you don't have freedom to do whatever you want. And the second thing is, the more you become spiritual, might scare you away, the more you're responsible to God. Oh no, that's not true. Well, God created souls for a reason. God put them here for a reason. God made all the other worlds for a reason, and realms, whatever words you want. Now, each realm, planet Earth, has 3 dimensions, not first, second, third dimension like people talk about. There's different 3 realms that we can go move into, which scientists like the CERN is trying to get into another dimension or what. That's still the physical reality, people. But they don't understand that either. You're in hell. You can play with these things, and only to find they will destroy you in time. Why do you think all the races are gone? All right. Why do you think aliens are coming here now? We're the last chance to move forward spiritually at any level. But they don't have emotions and feelings like we do, so it's a lot harder for them. So here you are, sitting by a tree. What are you thinking about? Hoping a good alien comes down and makes the world better? Not going to happen. God's going to throw a couple gold bricks at your feet so you can live happy ever after? No. What do you want? Understanding. When this body dies, you move on. As what? As a soul being. You're in your astral body when you die. And you use that in the astral plane. You reincarnate, you come back into this body. And you're in a human body again. But you can go past the astral plane and go into your third world and become a different body as well. What do you want to say? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to accomplish? What do you want to attain? I'm happy just doing what I do. Okay. You can do that forever. If this is where you want to stay and call it a good place to stay, stay there. Hell's a place to get out of, not a place to get into. We're always here. We got to get out of it. Jesus taught that when people wanted to listen. They didn't know much when Jesus stood with Satan for how many days? A long time. He didn't kill him either, did he? People, do you believe in angels? Do you believe in deities? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in demons, witches, ghosts, spirits? Where's your attention? So, as you think about where you are right now, who can you put in that picture with you? Now, I'm going to tell you this. The next picture you're going to need when you go into meditation is your spirit guide or your angel, however you want to look at it. Every soul has one, two, usually two, maybe more. But if you don't listen to them, in time, they're not there. And then it becomes useless. You scare them away, they don't want to waste their time. Souls that donate their time to help a soul attain a spiritual place is important to the person that they're trying to help. But they don't need to waste their time. You know, in the story where it says Jesus talked about like throwing seeds everywhere on the rocks and the dirt and everywhere, some will grow, some won't. Well, that's the way you got to be with what you give out. Don't expect every seed to grow. When you talk to a person, don't expect them to listen. Don't expect them to understand what you're talking about either. Why do it? Because you have no other purpose or place in this life to do anything important. Oh, but I can still find a cure for a disease that we created. 90% of every disease is created by man. We have the cure for leprosy. We have the cure for a lot of things. The native people came out with the cure for the cancer a long time ago. Realize the native people were living in the United States. They didn't have disease and sickness. Really, they didn't. Whatever they got, cold, whatever it was, anything, there was a cure that they always found. And they always believe whatever you get, there's a cure for it somewhere around you. But when mankind, Spanish and English, came with diseases and sickness, they had to learn to fight it. Sure, a lot of them died fighting it, learning how to fight it, but they did. But there was 50 million native people here. Now there's 1 million. I'm talking about full-blood native people. All right. I don't see any questions in the chat room. I guess you don't need any questions answered. That's fine. You know everything you need to know. That's a good thing too. But the truth is, how much do you know about God? Anything? How much do you know about death? Anything? Really important? Yeah, we all die. Eckhart Tolle was talking to Oprah and she goes, well, what about death? He goes, well, my mother and father died. We die. Oh, wow. I mean, that took intelligent thought. People, it's always a time to grow, learn, and do the things you need to do now. Don't wait. Don't say, well, I'll do it sometime. No, there might not be a future. We're pretty much screwing up our future right now. Every which way. But it's very hit and miss. Until you finally take that step and say, okay, I'm going to start a path. I'm going to follow something. I want to get somewhere. Not to the bank, not on a yacht, not those things. All right, people, I'm not going to go longer. I just want to start it. And I want you to realize there's a starting point for everything. If you don't start, it will never move forward. And time is now to start. People, I give you everything I can. I give you all my truth. And I do not lie. I am responsible to God only. So if I screw up to you, I screw up to God. People, my heart is here. I'm not begging you for money. I'm not begging you for anything else other than you need to look inside yourself. Find where you need to be going. Find what you need to be doing. And it's not the job. You can do any job and still work on yourself, which is what you have to do. You can still have a relationship and still be worried about you as soul, because you will never be able to bring your family with you. Jesus told his disciples, leave your family, leave your children, come with me. Because they all aren't ready to go anywhere. You can't move a person spiritually. Jesus didn't come for the world. He came for the few souls that were ready to move forward. All right, people. Thank you for coming in, chatting, coming into the room. I appreciate it. My email, I'll put it up. I just got a video sent to me today. It looks like a giant bowling ball traveling through the sky. 2 jets are following it. It's really cool. All right, people. UFO world's growing, and it's not a good thing. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here.